Alrighty, so I've been letting questions pile up in the Ask Suris channel for a couple months, and so we're going to go ahead and get as many of them answered that haven't been answered in the channel as possible in here. I am probably going to regret most of this, but let's see what happens anyway. What's the worst that could happen? Fan art first, and then we'll go into the questions. First one here is from not Lore Does Art. No, this one is Mathematical Cabbage. So you know how sometimes when you catch a cat's attention while they're bathing, they blep? What if Raz was trying to get Suris' attention while he was bathing and he blepped? So I'm just going to say this right now. You don't want a cat girl, GF. You don't want what that tongue is. Just letting you know. The next one we have here is from Knitted Cryptic. I got myself a drawing tablet for my birthday, so here's some fan art I did trying to figure it out. Oh, well, thank you. I like the slime. I like the Pudge Slime Suris. The next one we have here is from Austin DR, and it was bound to happen eventually. This is somebody's fetish, you know it. I don't know how I feel about this, so I'm just going to say thank you for the fan art, and the emojis that were placed here spell out my reaction as well. Why? Anyways, as always, everyone, thank you all for your fan art submissions, even the ones that make me feel weird. And yeah, let's get into things. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider doing that. But anywho, let's get into things. The first one we have here is from Dog Pun or something. Hey, Suris, how do you feel about political fanfiction? What about political Sonic fanfiction? I feel like fanfiction about real people is weird. Political Sonic fanfiction is fine. I mean, I'm literally writing Sonic fanfiction for videos right now, so, like, it's fine. The other one, maybe not. But if we're just talking about fanfiction around the idea of politics, now we're just talking about, like, West Wing, Survivor, or Designated Survivor. Like, all that. Let's have a Miku Binder Jefferson. Jesus. Let's go to the next one. This one is from Hitwoman She. What's your suggestion on how to come out to a bigoted right-wing person that you're close to? As example, a father or someone that you would consider a father in some regards. So, I don't have a lot of experience with this. The best experience I have is when I came out to my mom as polyamorous. So, I can give my experience with that, and maybe that will help, but the first bit of important info, make sure you're safe. Your personal safety is more important than your ability to come out. I hate saying that. It sounds cruel. It sounds wrong. But it is 100% correct. You, as a person, your well-being is more important than people knowing the true you, so to speak. If this person is potentially transphobic or anti-LGBTQ, and you're living under their roof and there's a chance they might kick you out for coming out, my best advice is to stay in the closet as long as possible. Do not pop out until you are in a safe position. Some people may call that cruel. I call that looking out for your well-being. Secondly, when I came out to my mom as polyamorous, I did it when I had my own apartment, when I was far away from her, and no matter what her reaction was, I could just go home if I needed to. I could go to a safe space if I needed to. And I began the conversation appealing to her Christian sensibilities. She is still a Christian, and I respect that. But I pointed out initially, like, you know, the Bible okays these things. The Bible is okay with polyamorous relationships of some form and variety. So I started out that way and then explained, hey, I'm polyamorous. At the time, I was dating 2 people at the same time. And it felt awkward coming out about that, but not the worst thing in the world. Beginning from some common ground can sometimes be incredibly helpful. Not so much for making the conversation better, but making the conversation less awkward for you, maybe. That common ground is going to be helpful. So my best bits of advice are find some common ground and please make sure you're safe otherwise before doing so. That said, Liska Day Babbitt, thank you for reading me your points for an you fucking degen. Also, Mushy, thank you for the follow. Let's go to the next one here. This one's from Nana Black Sheep. This may be too new a topic, given how streaming is in media, but how can one encourage and shape a community to have a specific vibe or focus, say for creativity, for example? So, there's 2 ways to do this. If you're part of a community, it's very hard to shape that community from within. Because if a community is 100 people strong, you're 1 in 100. But if it's your community, you're a YouTuber, you're a TikToker, curation is the best way to shape that community. Let's say when I was putting up fan art in a video, if somebody said in the live stream, "Wow, that art's ugly," my immediate thing, because I want to shape a community that is affirming for artists, that will encourage them to keep on doing better and getting better at their craft. If someone were to do that, the way that I would go about shaping that community to be better for artists would be to immediately tell that person, "Hey, we don't appreciate that here, and if you do that again, you'll get timed out. And if you do that again after being timed out, then I'm going to have to just ban you." You can't change the opinions of who is in your community around certain things, but you can disallow certain types of people being part of your community, at least the vocal part of your community. And by doing that, you'll end up attracting more people who want to affirm what you want. So if you want people to be positive and affirming to artists, then curating the people out who are not that way will inevitably lead to more people who are positive and affirming of artists coming in, because they're going to see that community. They're going to see that that's how you treat artists in your community. That's how people treat artists in your community. They're going to want to be a part of that more, because that community already, because of your curation, is leaning more that way. After you've curated it that way, it will start growing more organically in that direction. Now, sometimes this can backfire. Sometimes you can have rules like, hey, the channel lore can be shaped by fan artists, and then people do things like sticking you in laundry machines, and eventually you start to realize that maybe this is a mistake in some situations. But realistically, the answer to that is just curate the people you allow in your community based on their actions and behavior, and you will organically attract people who are the opposite of what you're banning out. And it may sound gatekeepy, it may sound mean, but at the end of the day, this is your mental health, this is your community. You get to shape it how you want. If somebody else wants to say, no, you can't, then they're trying to impose their own ideas in your community, and you can just kick them out too. It's a completely valid thing to do. The next one we have here, the 4th question, is from Index Card Arts. Suris, how do I get out of retail purgatory? I've been stuck in various retail jobs my entire adult life, and I hate everything about it. It's been a constant drag on my mental health to the point where I'm currently debating calling in sick again and risking termination. So, unfortunately, when it comes to stuff like this, the only way out of a type of employed position is to go to a different type of employed position. Or finding a way to make money that doesn't require that. So you have a couple of options. Option 1, is there governmental assistance that you can rely on that would maintain your standard of living? And how easy is that for you to access? If it is a thing you can access and it would help you maintain your standard of living, that may be better for your mental health than the retail job. But most people are not going to qualify for the type of governmental help that can take care of all of your bills. So the other way you would do this then instead is moving to a different field. What are your skill sets? What can you do? Retail is a place where people go as a starting job or as a default thing. And to be fair, there's a skill set involved in retail, and it's a very fine-tuned skill set. People who do retail for a long time get very good at operating with customers. They get very good at handling product. They get very good at analyzing where product needs to go quickly. So ask yourself, what other positions can I take these learned skills from a retail environment and apply them to? If you've already had to do customer service in retail, there's a chance that you might be able to work in a more secretarial position somewhere else. You're already doing that job in retail. Find places that need that skill set elsewhere. Just take all of the things you have learned from your retail environment and move them to another position. Alternatively, find other skills to get a job in a different field. This is not an easy thing to do, and it will take time, but you need to generate some type of skill set. The reason that retail jobs will hire pretty much anybody is because they know they can teach their skill set. Their skill set, at least enough to function at a baseline, can be taught very quickly. Find a skill set that you enjoy that you can use to move outside of that bubble, so you're not trapped there as best you can. As an example, let's say you like building models. Well, that's a skill set that can be used at a bicycle shop, building high-end bicycles. If you enjoy building things on a small scale, putting together from a kit, you might enjoy building things on a large scale, putting them together from a kit as well. And while that is also a type of retail environment, that typically is an environment that has fewer people coming in and bothering you and destroying your mental health. There's a difference between working at a specialty shop for a passion of yours and working at a general big box retailer. But the biggest bit of advice is to either move up in the company into a position that is more tolerable for yourself, or move adjacent into a different company with a different skill set. Assess the skills that you have. Do you know how to operate the Adobe suite? Do you know how to operate things in the Microsoft Office suite? Take the customer service skills you already have in retail, and worst comes to worst, get a free trial to something like Skillshare and learn other skills. Build up other skill sets for yourself. Read audio, listen to audiobooks when you've got the time. If you're working in retail, you can probably shove an audiobook in your ear. Generate other skills for yourself so that you can move into a different field. It is almost impossible to get someone to hire you without some type of education or experience. But if you can walk in and say that you've at least had the education, it doesn't even have to be formal in many cases. Just say, hey, this is a passion of mine. I do this. You can move into something like an IT field, because you can demonstrate that it's something that you are passionate about, it's something that you know about. You might not even need the actual degree to get a foot in the door. The other thing would be, whenever you're putting an application somewhere, be persistent. Don't just put the application in and then, be done. Put the application in and walk in for a follow-up. Not call, walk in. Ask to talk to the hiring manager. Ask to talk to the person in charge of letting you in. Get to know them on a first-name basis. That person is more likely to hire you in if, when they look at your resume, they see a name they recognize. So, I get that retail's a, Mooey Chewy. I'm sorry, MUI Pikachu. Thank you very much for the raid. What were you doing? Lilith Rose says Chew. Oh, god damn it! Oh, god damn it, I said it on accident! Screw you, Lilith! Fuck you! Damn it! You did it. Oh, god fucking damn. We're moving on to the next question. We're moving on to the next question. This one is from Masterman64. Not sure if this is a better question for your editor, but how do y'all manage VODs for editing into YouTube videos? Mainly wondering since my streams go for 3 hours and the files get big. Masterman, the best advice I can give you is that YouTube and Twitch will both store your VODs for you. On Twitch, they will store them for at least 30 days if you have affiliate. But if you are trying to take and make episodes out of those VODs, do not do the thing where you do the whole stream and then try to find the content in the VOD that's supposed to go up on the YouTubes. Don't do that. That's a self-defeating thing. You will burn yourself out. Get good at learning when you are about to talk about something you're passionate about. Get good at learning when you are about to go into content creation mode on your channel. Because in an 8-hour stream, not everybody wants to watch all 8 hours of it. But, you know, for those of you who do, look up Neko Suris VODs. There is a Suris VODs channel for people who want to watch the entirety of everything that happens on this channel. So there's that now. I'm working on that. Anyway, fact of the matter is, the way that I do content is when I know I'm about to talk about something I care about, I hit the record button preemptively. 99% of the time, that content is going to go up on YouTube. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I record something and I'm like, I'm actually not thrilled about that. We're gonna not post that onto the internet. Sometimes that happens. But generally speaking, preemptively record your content. Don't go in and try to find the content viable pieces in a 3 to 5 hour VOD. That's going to be an entire workday's worth of time. It's not worth that. Get good at learning when you are about to do the thing. Press record before you do the thing, and press record when you're done with the thing. Anyways, next one. From SefiX Derpy. Hi, Suris. I got a rather funny question. Has anyone thought to do a Rule 63 on Abby Shapiro for shits and giggles, to make her look like a guy instead of a girl? Mainly asking, I wonder, there's no real malice or anything in this, perhaps just morbid curiosity to see if you might know. SefiX Derpy, somebody already did that. It's called Abby's Parents. Abby's parents already made a Rule 63 Abby Shapiro. His name is Ben Shapiro. Take a look at both of their pictures side by side. You will not be able to unsee Ben Shapiro with tits. The next one we have here is from Saya. Hey, Suris. I think the book you were talking about in today's video was The House on Mango Street. Okay, so for those who don't know, I included this one because there was a video I did ages ago about a book that I was forced to read that involved a rape scene in it. And I tried to use it as an example of a book that I read in school that I had to read that I might not have enjoyed, but it did give perspective, and it would maybe make people understand why the various books Republicans are trying to ban are not ban-worthy. Yes, the book I was talking about was House on Mango Street. I couldn't remember it for the life of me. Thank you for remembering it for me. Next one we have some Vanguard Christie. How much does Suris care for D&D and tabletop RPGs? So, here's the thing. I do not like tabletop RPGs all that much. I enjoy D&D to an extent, but it triggers my migraines. Something about sitting down at a table with a bunch of people and taking a long time before I have a chance to do an action destroys a game for me. I do enjoy D&D. I play a paladin in 5th edition, and I've done it through multiple campaigns. I do enjoy it, but I have to have a distraction of some kind so that I can tolerate it. Even when I'm playing Commander for Magic the Gathering, I literally have like a fidget cube on me most of the time where I'm able to just knock it around when my turn isn't up. And if people's turns take too long, it will cause me a migraine. It was one of the reasons I didn't get into Commander for so long for Magic, was that it had all the problems that tabletop RPGs, and to the same extent board games, have for me. Razor Sharp Gaming says, I keep having to miss your streams, but I love your content. Hope that things have been going well. Thank you so much for the resubscription, Razor Sharp Gaming. And Kachiroi88, thank you very much for the You know, that's my issue with them. Now, granted, do I enjoy them when I play them? Yes, I enjoy D&D when I play it. I had a super fun experience recently, not recently, like literally a few months ago, where I got to have a batshit insane conversation with a lich with my paladin, and it was me pissing off this lich enough by being an obnoxious holy man that Raz could come up behind him and decapitate him with a brain decapitation sword, D&D 5th edition. Why is it not coming to mind? It's even a Magic the Gathering card, and I have it in like 2 decks. I can't remember the name of it for some reason. But anyway, I enjoy... Somebody will know. Somebody will know it. It's if you roll a natural 20 with a sword, Vorpal Sword. There we go. Yeah, if you roll a natural 20 with it, you automatically get to behead them. But yeah, it's Vorpal Sword. So I got to have a fun interaction with that, and I enjoy D&D when I play it, as long as the time in between players' turns is not taking so long that my brain has the chance to go to mush. I used to also play D&D on... we would do 5th edition over Roll20, and I would literally... I know this says it's copyright free, but I'm scared that it wouldn't be. We'll see what happens. But I would play D&D on Roll20 and play World of Warcraft at the same time so that I could just be mindlessly grinding on WoW while I was waiting for players to take their turns and while I was paying attention to the story. Because it doesn't take a lot of my attention to grind on WoW, but it does keep me engaged enough to maintain playing the game. The next one we have is from Aether. Okay, which of your artists would be best to start making art to be later used for a VTube model, more specifically a furry model? I've worked with Stoff before, and I know their prices are fair, but I'd like options. So, the best thing I can say is check the About section of Twitch. Every artist, for the most part, who is involved with my channel is linked down there, with maybe the exception of Smacko. I need to change that. I need to fix that. But every artist involved with my channel is there, as well as what they are responsible for. That should give you plenty of options. If what you're looking for is options, that will give you options. Next one we have is from Masterman64. So with the recent announcement of the revenue split going from 70-30 to 50-50 on Twitch, will that affect your plans on the platform? All right. So let's take a moment to listen to this. Let's take a moment to be honest with you. The revenue split affected almost nobody. I'm being perfectly honest. 99% of people who stream on Twitch were already doing so under the 50-50 revenue split. The change in TOS from Twitch changed nothing for those people. Of the people who have the 70-30 split agreement and are being grandfathered in on that agreement, they are keeping that 70-30 split even with the new TOS changes. Until they hit, what is it, like $150,000, $100,000 earned? Like, you keep that 70-30 split, and it doesn't turn into a 50-50 revenue split until you've already earned $100,000 on Twitch. And not $100,000 in the year, $100,000 for that month, for that pay period. So no, it doesn't affect my plans on the platform because it affected almost nobody. Like, almost nobody's lives were significantly changed by that agreement. Only people's perspective. People who read over the Twitch TOS and wanted a reason to be mad at Twitch, you had a reason. It was called TwitchCon. This was not one of them. Literally nothing changed for the vast majority of people on Twitch. Next one is from a Nubian. Can you give me a playlist of Sonic songs to try out? I can't really because I don't have a playlist. I take all the Sonic soundtracks and I drop them into Windows Media Player and I hit shuffle. So there must be a couple of creators who they get a massive amount of money out from that. I mean, sure, but when somebody's already making like $100,000 to $200,000 on Twitch alone. Most people who do streaming do not survive off of Twitch alone. They survive off of a combination of Twitch, YouTube, merch, and brand deals. Like, it only affects the Twitch ad revenue, or not ad revenue, but the Twitch sub revenue. I'm not super concerned about the people making six-figure salaries. Next one is from Vanguard Christie. Not sure if this is worth a fully loaded video, but I'll ask here. Why does Suris hate these words? I'll say this once, and I'll never say it again. The war words pissed on my life and fucked everything. They ruined everything. Salem says, I'm not saying that out of concern. I'm just pointing out that Twitch, to even bother changing that, they must be pocketing something from them. And they might be. It might be. It might be that Twitch is earning a significant amount from them, or it may just be them trying to future-proof their platform from potential revenue losses later. I don't know. I'm not super concerned about it, though, personally. But I can understand that, like, there's two explanations for it, and both of them are money. Either there are current creators that are making them enough money, and you're right, Salem, that it's worth it for them to do the TOS change, or there are creators that are up and coming that they're worried about not making more money off of. One of the two. It might be that with the advent of subathons becoming a thing because Ludwig popularized them, maybe they're seeing that as, like, a potential way. Like, they're seeing that and they go, okay, cool, we've had a spike in subs. How do we make money off of this? How do we make our end? The line always has to go up. All corporations are evil. But we all have to exist with them. Let's see here. Next one we have is from Pandora's Quill. So I was coming home from work last night when I spotted a dark shape on the sidewalk. Turns out it was a very lost bunny. There really isn't anywhere else on the server I could post this, but in memory of Sweet Thumper, I thought I would share this happy story. Bunny is at a rescue facility eating lots of hay now. I miss Thumper. I miss him. For those who might still not know, Thumper did pass away due to an eye infection. He got the eye infection because he tried to hump Yumi. Yumi swiped at him, and because Yumi has brain damage, every other cat, when they are playing with Thumper, does not use claws. Yumi used claws. And that it was within 24 hours. We couldn't even get him to a vet in time. It sucks. It took me a while to deal with the fact that one of my animals that I love accidentally killed another one that I love. That's not been super fun to adjust to, but I do miss Thumper. Next one we have here is from Alana Love. I get you don't feel gender euphoria, but will you ever go on HRT? No. I'm not trans. I don't feel the need to go on HRT. I don't feel dysphoria, and I don't feel gender euphoria. I am apathetic. I have no reason to change my biology in any way because I am apathetic. I have zero shits to give, and therefore zero things to change. The next one we have here is from Index Card Arts. How do I start making money from my content creation? This is probably more a follow-up to the how do I escape retail? And the answer to that is find your niche. All content creation has somebody that wants it. So find your niche. And not, I found a cool gimmick. Somebody might like this. Like, no, you've got to find something in the middle. There's got to be something that is both a thing you enjoy and a thing someone else might potentially enjoy. How do you find a good niche? Luckily, we can see how you can see in real time if a niche that you are trying to go for is worth it. Let's say you're on YouTube and you just started a channel and you've got 10 subscribers, and when you make a video, all 10 of those people watch that video, and you're feeling great. That means you haven't found your niche. if you find your niche, it's going to result in people engaging with that are not just a small core of your fan base. Your channel will grow because more people will come to see it. Finding your niche requires you experimenting with a lot of different things. Experiment with different kinds of art that you're comfortable with. Experiment with different ways of finding customers. Open up a shop on something like Fiverr or on Etsy. Start a YouTube channel. Start a Twitch channel. It's very hard to succeed on any of these platforms, but the fact of the matter is all of them are available to you, in many cases at no charge. If finding your niche is going to be about figuring out the one thing that people are going to come to you for as opposed to other people because you're just that gosh darn good at it, then the strategy for that is going to be to put yourself out there on those platforms. Don't just wait for it to happen. Don't just put a thing in a Twitter bio and then when nobody comes by asking for the thing that you were really good at doing, that doesn't mean that you should stop there. Oh, I put an advertisement out on Twitter. Nobody came. Nobody must like the thing that I do. It's not what that means. Find different ways, different angles of marketing, different ways of promoting yourself. Finding your niche is always going to be a combination of the thing you like doing and the thing other people are responding to. You cannot get the other people are responding to part if you are not putting your stuff out there for people to find and engage with. If nobody knows your stuff is out there, nobody can engage with it. And while you are trying to get your stuff engaged with by other people, by putting it out on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Etsy, on Fiverr, as you are doing that, as you are putting yourself out there on multiple different mediums, you should be spending the time refining your craft. The thing you like doing should be getting better and better and better as time goes on. That way, anytime that you are not generating money from your content, you are getting better at making the content to generate money from. Never stop making content because you're not making money from it. Keep making the content because you'll get better at making the content for when there are people to engage with it. But again, like I said, you've got tons of different revenue opportunities in several of the places that I've mentioned. YouTube ad revenue, Twitch via subs, Fiverr via commissions. Instagram is not super great for artists, but it is a place that I've seen people utilize. Patreon is a place that I've seen artists utilize. Twitter, DeviantArt, though less so these days. Tumblr. These are tools you have access to. Anytime that you are not spending honing your craft or doing things for survival like being at work, if it is not being spent expressly on something for your mental health, like, say, playing your favorite video game, you should probably be spending that time engaging with all of the various tools at your fingertips and learning how to better engage with those tools. You would be surprised how many avenues you haven't tried when you feel like you've tried everything. Next one we have is from Kamek. I hardly interact with people. Watching YouTubers, particularly you, is most of my interaction. Is that such a bad thing? I have autism, and that's why I barely interact. So, interaction is not a good or bad thing. Interaction can be good or bad. All that matters is that you, as an individual, are comfortable and you're not harming anybody. It's not bad to not interact with people so long as the handful of times you have to interact with people, you aren't causing them problems, and they aren't causing you problems. Ultimately, what your comfort level dictates is what you should be working in, unless your goal is to walk outside of that comfort level to improve your ability to interact with people. If autism is a reason why you barely interact, then ask yourself, is it because you just don't want to interact with with those people, or are the social barriers that are presented to you by that the reason you're not interacting? Because if it's the latter, finding a group that engages in a shared hobby can actually be a really great way to get better at interacting with people if you want to do that. Because your shared hobby will be a bridge that you can use no matter what. I go to a card shop on Fridays and Saturdays. There are a lot of people who go to card shops, who go to specialty hobby stores like that, who are on the spectrum. A lot of times it's because the hobby that I am engaging in, because I think it's fun, I enjoy it, it's a great thing for me. For them, it's either a hyperfixation or a special interest. And guess what? All that matters when they walk through that door is that we are all enjoying the show. We are all enjoying the game. We are all enjoying the thing that we have gone to that communal place for. It doesn't matter if the reason they're there is because they're hyperfixated on Magic for the next 3 months and it will disappear when they're done. It doesn't matter if they're there because they have an uncontrollable pull to this game and they're stuck on it no matter what. And it doesn't matter if there's somebody who's just starting because it looks like a neat hobby. All that matters is that we're all there enjoying a hobby. If your goal is to just be comfortable, then it's perfectly fine to only interact with people when you have to. If your goal is to get better interacting with people, if the reason you don't interact with people is because you don't have those natural social skills for whatever reason, could be being on the spectrum, could be living a sheltered life, it could be anything. My best advice will always be find a location that operates because of a shared interest. You like skating? Go to a skate park. You like rollerblading? Go to a rollerblade ring. You like playing video games? Go to a video game tournament location. You like playing card games? Go to a card game location. Go to a place where you can play Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Weiss. You like building models? Go to a hobby store that has an area for building and painting models separate from everything else. People will come by and comment on your work. You like doing Nerf gun stuff? Then, go to a Nerf meetup where y'all get together in the woods and shoot each other. We're going to go into a rant about urban planning and the lack of decent third place. I have a plan for that. There's a YouTuber who I admire, who I have sent an email to have a conversation about third places and Magic the Gathering as a mental health tool. So, look forward to that. Contingent on how they respond to my email. I wouldn't want to give any information past that. Next one we have here is from, let me make sure that I didn't go forward too much, from Aether. Suris, why do your streams always start when I'm away? Because I hate you. I'm kidding, it's not. No, it's literally just, I stream when it's convenient for me, and sometimes that's inconvenient for other people. I'm sorry. Rob Learn says, didn't you do a video on third places in the last few months? I did. The Mini Ace says, could you please, if possible, post a reference picture for the new Witch model? I will try to get on that, though the best person for that would probably be Suzu. I'll see if Suzu could put together a reference post for the Witch model. That might be more helpful than me just posting pics. Oh boy, this is the big one. Dog says, would you rather be able to telekinetically push stuff away from you, or be able to telekinetically pull stuff towards yourself? Man, I would rather be able to telekinetically pull stuff towards me. If I'm being honest, that sounds like a much more useful tool. Pushing things away from me is great. Pulling things towards me, it feeds my laziness. It's just the convenience of it. However, I will take push stuff away from me if I can choose anything at an instantaneous speed. If, like, somebody shoots a gun at me and I could just push the bullet away, like, as a forever thing, then I may actually choose to push stuff away. Would you rather be able to open a ring pull without tools because the ring pull always breaks off, or never be able to open the top of a packet without it splitting down the side? I don't know what a ring pull is. So I plead the fifth on this. Would you rather be able to see all wavelengths from 750 nanometers, the upper limit of red, down to 9.5, lower limit of ultraviolet, bordering on X-rays, or all the wavelengths from the lower limit of blue up to 10.6 microns, emissions peak of the ideal black body, so you can see ice water is glowing hot? I don't know. I don't know. For what purpose? That's way too much information. I have no idea because my brain is soup. No. Anyways, the last one is, would you rather be able to derive all your nutritional needs from ale, wine, and spirits, but be unable to process solid food, or not need to eat or drink at all and be unable to do so? I guess technically the latter, because I don't drink, and I wouldn't want to have to be constantly drunk to survive. That would be cool. Vast the Rat, thank you for the subscription. But, I like eating food, actually. I enjoy the taste. I don't know. Next one we have here is from Mathematical Cabbage. What are some of the loved bits of channel lore? I remember how a few things of yore, the face and the bread, as well as some newer stuff, Lord Dumpy, the coins, and Timer Coon, but are there others? So an old piece of channel lore that I remember that I miss desperately is nuclear fruit. I've not had many good reasons to use the nuclear fruit saying outside of when, you know, Muslim hell was being talked about, and we were talking about zakum, the fruit that's derived from, like, the sweat and blood of tortured sinners and can apparently destroy a city if dropped on it. Like, nuke fruit. Nuclear fruit's cool. I like that concept. There's so many neat things I wish I could do with that concept in the stream or on the channel, but it just kind of died out for utilitarian reasons. I didn't have any reason to reference it that much, and I kind of miss it. That's the Rat. Oh my god, why do you have an Adamus shrimp and an Adamus piloting a Monica shrimp? Jesus Christ. Of course, laundry porn is one thing, thanks to channel artist Salem Sky. I don't know how that... I know it's associated with Salem somehow, because of my either my search history or what have you. But yeah, no. Why are you blaming me? You had something to do with it, I'm sure. Let's see here. Very H? We still got the emote for Very H. People can still use that. Very H is one that I know why Very H died. I know why it died. So the fact that YouTube has a polling system now, and Twitch has the ability for me to do polls, because of those things, the purpose of the Very H meme just kind of died. It used to be that, you know, I would say, hey, if you agree with me, type H. If you disagree with me, type G. And it was a fun thing, because then afterwards it'd be like, hey, the chat is Very H. And I do kind of miss that, but the fact that we could just use the polling thing on Twitter or on Twitch, like, that just kind of killed the purpose of that meme was removed by technology. And as much as I like the meme and would like it to stay and return, I just don't end up having uses for it, so I feel like I'm forcing it. It's the same thing with nuclear fruit. Like, I feel like I'm forcing that meme if I don't, you know, if I don't have a reason to use it. Rule 63 Suris was also a fun bit of channel lore, because Rule 63 Suris as a concept died when I just became the gender bent Suris. So that's something. I can't think of anything else really that hasn't come to mind already. Discount Hovend was a fun bit of time for the channel, but he stopped making content, so we stopped having a reason to make content on him. So I mean, that's kind of gone now. Yeah, past that, like, really, I can't think of a whole lot. Blizzy is newer stuff. Like, Blizzy's newer. Blizzy's down here. He's a good boy. But yeah, in terms of like older, well-loved, but you know, ultimately dead bits of channel lore, can't think of any else that come to mind. If there's bits that you guys have, let me know in the comment section below for the video. The next one we have here is from, and this is the second to last one, Philip Nico. Hi, Suris. What VTuber app do you use for tracking? Right now, I'm using VTube Studio. But when I use my 3D model, I use VC Face. And the last one we have here is from Backflip Eternal Rivals. What's your favorite non-Sonic game? This is a very hard one to answer because it's very hard for me to categorize a favorite game because my games tend to blend into genres. If you ask me my favorite RPG, it's going to be either Chrono Trigger, Paper Mario, or one of the older Pokemon games, probably Crystal. If you ask me my favorite platformer, that's probably going to end up being Mario Sunshine, maybe. If you ask me my favorite action game, that's probably going to be Resident Evil 4. But if you ask me my favorite survival horror game, that one's going to be the Resident Evil 1 remake on the GameCube. So it really depends on, like, I don't have a favorite game. Oh, my favorite platformer also, like, Mario Sunshine's tied with Banjo-Kazooie. So, like, it really depends. No, the model cannot turn 360. So it really depends. I don't have a good way to answer that outside of by genre. If I do it by... What's your favorite sandbox building game? Terraria. But if I try to do it by console generation, let's see. My favorite game of the my favorite game of the 4th gen is probably Final Fantasy 1. If I'm being perfectly honest, either that or Mario 3. My favorite game for the 5th generation of consoles is probably... That's probably Chrono Trigger or Mario RPG. Honestly, that was a heyday for that kind of RPG. 6th generation of consoles, that's going to be Sonic Adventure 2 or Paper Mario or Banjo-Kazooie. Or, you know what? Resident Evil 2. Like, it's a toss-up. Sonic Adventure 2, Resident Evil 2, like, all of those are in that generation, so it's really hard for me to pick there. I know there's people who are going to say Sonic Adventure 2 is... Oh, wait, no, that's 5th gen. 6th gen is GameCube. Derp. I did this wrong. 3rd gen is NES. That's Final Fantasy 1, Super Mario 3. 4th gen is SNES. That's Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger. 5th gen is N64. That's, you know, Resident Evil 2, Sonic Adventure 1 or 2. I mean, yeah, that's where we get there. Paper Mario, Banjo-Kazooie. 6th gen, that's GameCube, PS2, etc. Kingdom Hearts 2, Resident Evil 4, Mario Sunshine. All of those would be my picks for there. Halo 2 also. I enjoyed a lot of Halo 2 back then. 7th gen. Jesus, now we're at, like, No More Heroes. It was just I loved No More Heroes. I loved Spectre of Origins. Trying to think of any other ones that, like, immediately come to mind for 7th gen. Sonic Unleashed, that's another really fun 7th gen, but it's non-Sonic stuff, so not that. So I guess non-Sonic stuff, I can't even say Adventure 2 for the other stuff. Short answer, too goddamn many. Yeah, too goddamn many. Too goddamn many. So I hope that answers that. And that's the last one that I have. That's the last one for the Q&A. That is the most recent question as of the time I grabbed all these in the Q&A section. So if anybody's wondering why I don't answer Q&A stuff at the Ask Suris channel immediately as it comes in, it's because I like doing Q&A videos as well. So, yeah. Hopefully that answers all of those questions. This is a long-ass video. I went in the weeds in a lot of these, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you've got any questions you want to throw at me, that's what the Ask Suris channel is for. But yeah, we're gonna go fight robots now. So thank you all for watching, and as always, everyone, insert any video tagline here.